Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Lisa, Best Life Lee. Today I'm going to be sharing with you a quiche recipe. So I have never really made quiche before. Not never really, I have never made quiche before. In the early 80s, quiche was all the rage, but I never made it. So this morning I'm putting together a spinach, tomato, and goat cheese quiche. I'm heading to a brunch this morning with my daughter-in-law, and my daughter-in-law's mom, and we're each going to bring a bottle of our favorite wine, and we're going to do a wine tasting, and we're all making something that goes along with the wine that we're bringing. So I am going to be bringing this quiche. I first saw this quiche on a beautiful video of a Tablescape done by a really wonderful YouTuber called Zakia, and she has a YouTube channel called Beautiful Living, and I'm gonna link the video with the Tablescape that I got this idea for the quiche. I'm gonna link that below so you can check it out because it's absolutely beautiful. So she linked the recipe that she used, and I found that it's a looks like a Food Network recipe. And this recipe calls for feta cheese. I am not a feta cheese fan, so I used goat cheese instead. This is just Alouette goat cheese crumbles, and it's a half a cup, and I'm gonna use a half a cup. This recipe I'm kind of modifying because I did a little research on how to make quiche and the best way to make quiche, and what the instructions said was that you should do 1 egg. For every egg, fill it with milk or cream to a half a cup. So if you have 4 eggs, you should have 2 cups of milk, and this calls for 4 eggs, but it only calls for 2/3 of a cup of heavy cream or milk. So I'm adding more milk to mine. And this has spinach and this called for cherry tomatoes. I'm going to use grape tomatoes. I just have 6 tomatoes that I've sliced in half. And then it calls for 2 cups of spinach. And the spinach you wilt on the stove with a tablespoon of olive oil, which I've already done. And the other thing that you want to make sure you do when you make a quiche is to par bake your crust. And so I've already par-baked my crust, and you're supposed to put something heavy it's called blind bake, and you're supposed to put something heavy, and they usually use like dried beans. I had no dry beans, and it suggested that you use pennies, and I actually did use pennies on the top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix up my eggs with I have a cup of milk and a cup of half and half. I'm just gonna try to make it a little bit more creamy. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the 4 eggs. It also calls for 2 minced garlics. So what you do is you put your cheese first, and then you put your spinach, and then you put your garlic, I believe. Let me just make sure. Oh no, you put the garlic in with the eggs and the cream. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll show you it all put together, and then we will put it in our and then we will put it in our oven. So I'm going to get my garlic minced in there. And I remember when quiche was first, I remember when quiche was like just becoming popular back in the day, I don't know. The tagline was "Real men don't eat quiche." Well, when I told my daughter-in-law, when I asked her if she if it was okay if I brought quiche, she's like, "I love quiche, and your son loves quiche." So there you go. Real men do love quiche. All right, so let's get I'm going to give these eggs a little beat before I put my milk in there and my cream. All right, so let's get our half and half. Smells good already with the garlic in there. And my milk. All right, I'm just gonna mix this up. My oven is heating at 350, and this recipe calls for the quiche to cook for 45 minutes. One thing it doesn't call for is to par bake your crust. So I think that the recipe may take into account that the crust needs to cook a little longer. So I'm only gonna cook it for 30 minutes and then check it. All right, so I have my crust and I'm gonna put my spinach. All right, so I'm gonna layer my spinach with a nice olive oil. And the spinach actually smells really good. All wilted and, you know, heated to, actually I'm gonna bring the camera over here so you can see what I'm actually doing with this. All right, so I'm just spreading this out with my olive oil so on the spinach. All right, and then I'm going to put my goat cheese crumbles. And we like cheese in my family, so oh, you're supposed to put the spinach over the feta cheese. All right, I already screwed that up, but I think it'll be fine. That'll all mix in together. Actually, what I'll do is I'll kind of bring the spinach up through these crumbles a little bit. And now I'll pour my egg mixture. Pour over top of the feta and the spinach. This is basically what quiche is a custard. Those are my garlics. Okay. And now what you do is you place the cherry tomatoes on top. I can see that some of it is dripping out because it's kind of, that's okay, it's going right into the plate. Now chives, it calls for some chives, and I do have some fresh chives in my herb garden, so I'm gonna go cut some of those. Fresh out of my herb garden. Let's just chop them up. These chives came from last year's garden. They just grew back. So that's awesome. And then I added some other things this year. One thing I haven't found is lavender this year. So I gotta keep my eye out for the sweet shop lavender. All right, I'm gonna put this in and I'll check it in 30 minutes and see how it's doing. I checked it at 30 and it wasn't done. I just checked it at 40 and it's still not done in the middle. So I put it in for another 10 minutes and we'll check it then. All right, guys. I think it's ready. It might be maybe a little bit not done in the middle, but it will cook the rest of the way as it cools. Oh my God. It looks beautiful. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna bring it in. And I'm putting it on aluminum foil. It looks amazing. I am really thrilled with the way my first quiche came out. All right, so you can see that the crust looks perfect. It's like a nice gel. You can see it moving a little bit, but it's not, you know, it's perfect. I'm going to wrap this up, and the good thing about quiche and why it's great to bring to a brunch or anything that, any kind of get-together that you're doing, is because quiche is best served at room temperature or even cold, but this will have a chance to cool down. It'll be just right by the time we start sampling the food. I'm heading there now. I'll be there in probably about an hour or so, and by then it's gonna look absolutely gorgeous. It looks gorgeous. I'm in love with it. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I'll take some pics while we're down at the brunch, and I'll also let you know, we'll taste it and I'll let you know how it tastes. So I'll let you know, you can see how it came out taste-wise. But I know it looks beautiful. I'm gonna take some pictures of it, and that'll do it for this video. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Take care. Bye for now. So I'm gonna try this quiche. It does look like a custard. Does it taste good? Did you try it? It tastes all right?
Yeah, it's nice and smooth.
It's got like it's supposed to be a custardy type thing.
Let's see, here we go.
See. Mmm, savory. No, it's very good.
Good. You got a lot of stuff on your plate there.
Yeah, I know. Don't show all the plate.
Okay, sorry.
Here's a tomato.
Creamy. It's nice
Creamy.
and set up.
It's set up okay.
The crust gives it that butteriness.
Oh, see
Oh, you
that?
need a Monica man. Right over the top.
All right.
The sweetness from the tomato.
Oh my goodness.
Try out this recipe, folks.